Hey, hi, shalom, guten tag, g'day mate. You see the one about the black American woman who's adopted a little weeny white girl, toddler, as a plant. This is fake news, man. You know, on top of all these cop things, it's highlighting the cop things. They're highlighting the cop thing. It's interesting as because it's like they've flooded Europe with Africans, right? And then they've got this race thing going on in the US. So I hope this video gets to everyone's eyes, man. Mass African explosion into Europe. And so there's all these black youths, young people, and I've got this next new famous one. Wow. And then I've got this story. You know, these riots, these, just like good kids always do. They're trying to do better than ever. You know. And so each of these riots gets worse and worse because of that. Because of the social media culture. They keep trying to up the next one. See, black Americans, they like the videoing of the fighting. They think it's a sport. And you know what? There's a bit of pride in every parent about this, man. I'll tell you what. Because my dad actually did that. He tried to hook me up into this fight with this other guy when I was like little. It's like because it's a rite of passage. Okay, that thing. It's kind of a rite of passage for any person. Actually, any person as a young one. Anyway. So you got the latest riots, and because some black guy got killed by the cops, right? And see, man, you know what? He was out of registration on his car. You know, my car is out of registration right now, right? The T-Nil work wagon. And it's because I was sick for 10 days. And I have to weld the exhaust because I changed the exhaust to make it so I could hear the exhaust better. And was just these two holes. It's two pieces I cut out of the rear mufflers, 50 by 10 mil. Yeah, it sounds like boiling chocolate, right? And I have to, anyway, they've changed the rules. I have to, because usually I would just put this paste. It's a type of paste, but it sets like steel. It's really good epoxy. Anyway, they're making me get it welded, right? And I can't afford it. Anyway, so I got pulled over for no rego, right? And you see the reaction of the guy, right? He's perfectly good, and man, there's been so many times I've seen this, man. They're perfectly relaxed, calm, and it's just a typical thing, man. I mean, it's actually not a biggie, really. It needs some money thrown at it, a little bit of money thrown at it, right? if you're talking about illegality of a car, it's just a little thing in the big scheme of things, right? Kind of thing, right? And so you're real calm. You've probably seen it. You've probably watched it. It was almost like camo what he was wearing, eh? It was like a white car with this camo clothes. And so anyway, so human nature came into it. See, if he got shot, right? Because he bailed, eh? As soon as they got that, he was just onto that other cuff, man, and it was like, douche. How he struggled away and got, like, what the hell? So then human nature takes over. So black Americans' human nature is what you saw, and white human nature is what you saw too. And see, there's 97. See there was 97 police officers in America killed in the line of duty in just April. Okay, just April. So that's a lot. And so what the black American, everyone knows what the cops are like. Okay? And all the cops know what black Americans are like. And that's fact, man. Yeah, they both do what they do. So it's like Israel and Palestine as well. It's not Israel and Palestine, it's Israel and Hamas. Hamas know exactly the attitude of Israel. They know exactly how Israel rolls, right? Exactly. They've had the biggest reminders ever of how the actual that system there operates in that area, right? And so why do they keep doing the exact thing? Why do they keep doing the exact worst thing? And because that's what black Americans are looking at. And aren't they Christian over there, eh, as well? Holy shit, all that Christian wisdom. All that Christian wisdom, and they can't even figure out that they just need to be nice. And you know, it wouldn't be hard to change the perception, change the worldview, but they don't do that. You know, that's like stupid, man. And so what there's that there, that's the issue right there. How the revitate applies, that is an issue specifically about the revitate. The Christian system has actually got no fucking empathy whatsoever. because that's where the old, that's where the financial system comes into it. So I've got to write something. I'm going to write a constitution. So this is the Moral Support Association of Farming. Okay, that is when everyone thinks of farming people, you know, they'll get this idea come to them of a set of values, and that is the new constitution. And so that already exists. Okay, so they know the difference, right? The system knows the difference between farming people and people that live in the city environment, right? And it's tricky to see though, because so there's been you know, back to that subject. So then you got this story of this black woman who adopted this little white girl, right? And beat her to death. Okay? It's the story. The black American woman beat the little white girl to death. But it's likely to never have happened. It's a fake story. It's just it's injected into the mix, and a lot of what they say in that respect is not. It's in the periphery of things. You know, they put things in the periphery. They focus you here for the reason being that there's things in the periphery of that you want to have, right? And so that's what they've done there. They want a complete anarchy, actually. And the Biden administration they're letting anyone come over the border, man. You know what, if I was Americans, I would actually go to those Mexicans coming over the border. I would go to them, right? If there's a mass flood coming, I would actually go to them, and I would, because a lot of these people are family people, man, and there's a lot of kids, people just sending their kids, man. You know, imagine that. You're fucking 12 years old and you're at home and it's totally poor, and so you've got on your mind the lifestyle of America. And so what's the idea of poor? And so you find out as you're a little kid that, I've got to go, you know, to America, which is a kind of legendary story. If you're from South America down there somewhere, and you can literally walk to the USA. Okay. Imagine growing up with that around you, man. Get your little country there. Imagine a small country town in Venezuela, which could be the ultimate place to live, actually, for a kid. And it's mainly because it's really quiet, hardly any pollution, and pretty good food security, actually, probably, maybe, because you got a piece of land all around you. Anyway, and yeah, you can walk to the USA and live in America. And now Biden said, "Come now." I don't know if it was a deep fake fucking that fucking thing. They were going to do Photoshop was going to do an audio version. So literally you could fake the shit out of anything you wanted. Actually, Photoshop, man, it's like... Anyway, So I'm a gamer, so I know the quality, I know what's possible on the quality of inventing videos and stuff, and movies and all that. I know all about images, cameras, or not the technology, but the actual potential, where the state of the art is in that. And I would grab these Mexicans, man, and I would round them up, man, as many of them as I could, man. I'm telling you what the Moral Support Association is for me. What the SOF would do, right? I'd grab all these people, man, and you know what? These kids, man, especially in the capacity of these kids, and I would grab, I'd set them up as, man. I would set them up as, and by way of taking them in, and feeding them, right? Getting them tuned up, right? There's a point to what, getting them tuned up. And then, so you give them a big hug, give these spirits a hug. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Give these spirits a hug. It's a day or something, it's just even 5 minutes would blow their minds. Just a little bit of love, man. See, that idea that they're like in some kind of prison camp, these people come over and they go into these places, and of course they overcrowded as, right, these places, right, because they've implied that you can come if you want, and that started back with that other train, right, the big caravan that came up, they reckon they worked out that last big one, that had all these people come up. They reckon it would have been 20,000 tonnes of food a day for them to actually have enough food to walk like that. So someone was feeding them all along the way. There's 20,000 tonnes of food, man, they reckoned, for that caravan that came up. And they go into these camps and they're all squashed in there, man, and the news is saying, they're keeping kids in cages, man, and it's like fucking, this is pure psychotic. This is a psychotic view. And so there's a whole bent out of shape attitude being thrown at this, like a schizophrenic has, someone wants to burn the world down, man. I'll tell you what. And so, give these guys, these Mexicans, especially the chicks, man. I would work hard on the chicks on this, man. And see, they can go where white people can't go. Well, the authorities can't go. Black Americans, everyone's in the authorities. It's like New Zealand. Every ethnicity, there's just any ethnicity is in the New Zealand police force. Like every single one. Man. It's like, every culture, every immigrant culture that's lived here, that's come here, there's a policeman. And because it's trippy as, man, to see a Chinese New Zealand policeman. There's something trippy about that. And that's how fake the political system is. In New Zealand we've got Chinese police officers, man. Chinese. You know what? There's not a single issue at all with that. There's just no problem at all whatsoever. But it makes an absolute mockery of the political system, who just take the issue big time, eh? See, that's the difference with the SOF. This is us, and the system thing is them. And I'm just making that point out. And and for their dynamicies of culture, all Indian, I mean, for me, it begins and ends at the food thing. We all love the food thing, and we're happy to see more food thing. And all the different places around have the different food thing, and so we have that here. Many restaurants, man. Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So get these young ones, and arm them. Right, the good people, because there's no. See, there's two sides of the whole. One is that it's a very low waged economy south of the border there in America, right? And life goes on from the low wage thing, man, And America's got the high wage thing, right? And so see, and they want to melt it down. They make riots and that. I've gone on YouTube today, but I'm waiting for another one. So you think it's a mass racism problem? Well, it is a mass racism problem because you're the vehicle of race for this, right? But this is business of the human being aggressive to other people, right? Because I just had this happen to myself, right? And another race was involved, and it was purely because I was white. What they were doing, right? Purely and simply. And that's the incident. It's a single little thing. But mate, it was nasty. Anyway, so I can forgive that. I can forgive that, and then you can go on with what you're doing. You're not emotionally affected by it, right? If you forgive it, I got a little bit cranky at the time, for sure. I said something about it too, just rah. What the fuck, But according to their values, that group's values, right, there's no forgiveness in that group. Everything is jumped on. And so they can't compute that I've walked away. There's way more value in walking away from it, right? Because it could have gone like, depending on it, but I walked away from it, and it's easy for me to do that because I've got, there's a few things going on for me, and so my mind's on that, and but other people haven't got that. Other people don't have that. They don't have goals. They don't have plans. And so that's why it becomes a big deal, man. And see this, and so yeah, they react like that, right? And even they wanted it to happen because it gave them that thing to do, man. Because their consciousness still is pushing in exactly the same way I have. Mine, yours, everyone's. As intent as you are in what you're doing, so are they. With nothing on the agenda but picking up another drink. Right, that's the only thing they've got, pick up another drink. And so, how do you seem important when that's all you got? You know, from the consciousness in the consciousness game. So I've got mass things, man, boom, 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 boom. Big things, the Tino party, right? The SOF, my company, the 8 product lines in the company, where the most expensive one would be 100 million, and the next one down from the most expensive one would be 10 million, because it's a miniature copy of this big one. So one's 100 mil, and one's 10 mil. Anyway, yeah, it's a Jaeger. Yeah, the top end one. I think 100 mil. And most of that is about how amazing it is. Anyway, see, how do you seem like you're an equal when that's the case, right? That's my situation, right? And that's their situation where they only need to pick up a drink. See, I've got this one. That's it. That's their whole life's ambition. And a shitload of talking. Drama. That's why they love the drama, because they've just got nothing outwardly looking about anything, right? And so consciousness, to seem equal, there's your racism, man. It's not that at all. It's one consciousness. It's desperately seeking to seem equal to yourself. This is it. This is the thing. And see, this Black American's whole problem. It's hung up on this thing of Black American. It's got to be Black American. And then they've got a little group of Black Americans implying that they are their whole culture. And it's only because that's the only thing people are saying. And so to seem equal, that's why they think they've got this thing out of New Zealand. Willie Jackson's big on it, right? The institutionalised racism, institutional racism, and that's what he's talking about. It's two wildly differing at the opposite ends of the scale of productivity. They're at the opposite ends of the scale of productivity, and the lesser one seeks to seem equal to one that is a lot more. See, that's the thing, that's the problem. And so that's where your racism comes in, and it's also how anxiety replicates itself. So anxiety manifests itself in that situation, and so that's what you get. And so when measured by the revelation of the 8 laws, the message that is an amnesty, that's what it is, man. There's the dynamices of the traffic stop, right? In that situation, in that context, this is what's playing out. You know, with all things considered, because the cops are pretty famous over there for shooting people. Even though heaps of white people all got mass statistics for all the same things Black Americans have. You know, there is the same thing going on in the white people as in the Black American people, as in Maori people, as in Pacific Islander people, as Indian people, and that's that wanting to seem equal, or wanting to seem more than equal as a general principle. You actually, because you actually operating consciousness is operating from just you, and you want to reach out, man, and do amazing stuff. And see, this is where this competitive spirit comes from. See, the car things do it. The car thing fully does it, man. Like my car, it's totally stock really, but I modified the exhaust to make it a little bit louder, and also the wheels were sticking out a little bit more. Anyway, and so yeah, everyone plays along with this. Everyone, fucking someone making a dress, or fucking, restaurants. You know what? Restaurants is entirely what I'm talking about. And so how the restaurant is, everything about it, it's about where the consciousness is of the restaurateur, the person that is actually doing, whose baby it is, man. Yeah. And so it'll reflect that, and so this is this party to. It's party to. The truth of it is that we're actually a singular consciousness. Okay, or a singular consciousness, because it functions. The values of it comes from. That's our unity. That is our unity. You see, this is this business of creating division, and so and this is why the media is the government. Okay, this is why because the government use the political system to be political, and that's how they are. But we don't do that, and so really the governance becomes the media, because that is the main point of contact. Okay, and they know this, how they stack stories, and they stage, they stagger the story with peripheral things along the way, and they make their impression, and so all these riots going on because these cops, and it's just drunken idiots, man. I mean, what society doesn't have a lot of drunken idiots, right? It's just actually, every culture is the same in that respect, man. You've got this group of people that aren't really committed to working, they are committed to having fun, and they love their friends. Everyone does this. Every single culture in the world does exactly the same thing on that score. Exactly the same thing. Every single culture in the world has families. So there's this thing that actually unifies. There's actually quite a few things that unify the entire human race, man. See, on that score, right, see, the place does dictate. It lends itself to, we're a product of nurture. And so the nature of the place I'm talking about, this is New Zealand, right? And we make of ourselves what we can, and we have. And now the thing of it is, I tell you what, you want to fix the world up, you got to take grass to where there is not grass. Because I think the only reason the West is rich is because we have farming. That's the only reason the West is rich. The thing that we have that makes us rich is our start point is further. It's exactly like getting a quicker start time in a race. Okay, if you can hole shot them, which it's effectively, it's quicker starting. It exponentially plays out in the whole game, right? And that's, yeah, so that's happened. That goes into that. I forgot what I was talking about, sorry. Bugger. So yeah, it's like that thing in Star Wars, right? Princess Leia says the tighter your grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers. And totally this is true. It's carved in stone, man. It is carved in stone. And this is what's going on. You know, imagine if, say if that conspiracy theory was true. If all the big conspiracy theory, they wouldn't have let the internet start like a social media thing. And so they've placed there the expression of conscious over their aspirations of control and whatever. So anyway, the SOAF, the Moral Support Association for Farming, so that's already a set of values installed, and so now I'm just saying that the Tina way of it is to have everyone focus on that, to have a look at that, right, and say now that's the law now, how these people act towards each other, and so it's generating the legal system from the whole opposite end of the spectrum of society, kind of, and because you're trying to create laws for people, and so this is an important thing. It's an important thing to understand. Because the legal system is designed from the top down, actually, and it's for a purpose there, so this new legal system is going to be from the ground up, because it's, they can put it in the context of their political thing and say it's a challenge and it's going to be, and they want to put it in a political thing because then they're allowed to compete with it. Okay? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there that there's a lot of problems. One, there is more people than ever before. Okay? And so for those two reasons, there's heaps more people than ever before, man. And also the middle class has everything it wants. Right? For those reasons, the system is falling on its face. Right? Because you get a jammed up place, man. And so I say those sorts of things are the primary drivers of the behaviour of society and the system, because the system's got to have to roll with it, man. And I think it's got all the immigrants in, right? New Zealand's had 6 times higher immigration than England for a population, right? And so they've got all these people in, and it's largely, a lot of it is about, for them, it is potentially every one of them could actually get a mortgage, right? Because they know the immigrant to the Western First World can easily earn the money to pay a mortgage over their life, and they'll be so wrapped for the opportunity. Oh God. if you're a middle class type person in the middle of a humongous Chinese city, and you have your family and you love your family, and you had the plan, oh, let's immigrate over there, you would so happily pay a mortgage, man. Hey, for like that, in the middle of like Mumbai, if you're a teenager in Mumbai and you got the chance to immigrate over to New Zealand, I'd be pretty stoked to be able to go be in New